Hey guys, Brian here at Triple B, and I've got my buddy Brandon Fowler here from Roaming Reptiles. He's in the county doing some educational shows, so I figured we'd all go along and check it out. I usually, obviously, am going to other people's places and checking them out. Brandon is here, and he's going to ask me questions and stuff, I think. Well, we'll see. We're just going to roll it. We'll see what happens. I'm going to pull out some snakes, we'll check them out, and we'll have a good time.
You're watching Triple B TV. Your videos are positive, right? You work on bringing that positive vibe to your videos. How do you stay positive in a hobby that has a lot of negativity? How do you push that stuff and say, you know what, I'm not doing it, and I'm going to take my own road to be on the higher end here?
Oh, that's a long, probably a very, very long answer to that question. But I don't know. I like to see the good side of things. I like to try and find the good side of anything.
Right.
You know, I'm often negative myself, believe it or not. I mean, I get angry. I think badly about things from time to time, but I know ultimately that doesn't really get you anywhere. It doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't do any good for myself or anybody else. So I do try to focus on the good things, because the more you focus on the good things, the more good things happen, I think. Even with people that are considered very negative in the hobby. Like I hope to interview some of these people someday and find the good part of it, because I think everybody has good and positive to offer, no matter how negative they can seem in some light. So that's actually a goal of mine, is to reach out to some of those people, or not just reach out to them, but actually have them on the show and talk with them about maybe why. You know, some people that seem like do nothing but negativity. Like I really want to find out like what it is, you know, that where that comes from and why, you know, just to see. But for me, it's easy, I guess. I just roll with it, man. I like to have a good time.
Yeah.
I like to smile. I mean, getting angry is something we all do, but it's not where I like to spend my time.
Right.
I like to be happy. I like to enjoy my life. I realize we've got a very short time here on Earth, and I want to have fun while I'm here, man. I don't want to be crying and moaning about stuff.
You know, I think that's negativity is like a trap. You know, it's like once you go there, it kind of sucks you in, right? And you got to fight to get back out, and you got to fight to stay out, and so it's a constant fight in some areas, right? But I think if you do it, you're right, man. Your life's a lot easier. And
it's important though too. You know, you got to have it's balance. I've been talking about this for a while. You got to have a balance. So if you didn't have any negative stuff, you'd have nothing to compare the good stuff to know that it's good stuff. So you have to have it. It's a necessary part of life, I think. At least for us humans, we haven't figured out how to not contrast, compare things. You know, we haven't figured out how to reach that total Zen level where we're just Zen all the time. We've got to keep falling back down and you're like, oh, it sucks, and then come back up. And
well, right on, man. Well, you're inspiring, man, to a lot of people. Your videos are amazing because, like I told you earlier, your videos aren't just about reptiles. It's about family. It's about life. Right, and you're very open with your videos.
Yeah, I got much to hide at this point. He's talking about the vlog channel. If you guys watch the vlog channel, then you know that it gets, there's not much as...
Maybe a little exaggeration on one of those, but hey, we're cool, right? But, you know, your videos are positive, and it's good not only for reptile people, it's good for kids to watch because they get that positive vibe from you. Showing animals in a positive light, showing family in a positive light, and I appreciate that, man. You do a good job.
Sure, man. Well, I'm glad that people are liking it, because I was gonna do it regardless, I guess. So I'm really glad that people enjoy it, because it makes it that much more enjoyable for me to be able to share what I'm doing and have other people enjoy as much as I'm enjoying the experience myself. It makes it that much better. It's like getting to share that joy is just it's fun. It's fun.
You know, it spreads.
And I get to rant too. Sometimes I've got a beef and I want to rant, and people listen and they make me feel it's good. The community has, to me, it really feels like a real community. One of the most solid communities I've ever been part of in my entire life. Like how tight people are and how it's amazing to me.
Yeah, you know, I've met people that I never would have thought I would ever meet, and you see or you hear about them and you meet them, they're completely different. You know, they're some of the nicest people, helpful people that you could ever meet. You know, and that's one thing I do love about the hobby and the community is people are willing to help when you need help. And I think more people need to do that, even outside the hobby.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's where I think this hobby has the biggest influence, is to push to people that are not necessarily in the hobby, but push that help each other mentality. Like when somebody's going down in our world, help them out.
Pick them, and over years we kind of went from, we find the people on top, we try to bash them and find something wrong with them to knock them down. And why couldn't we just raise everybody up to that higher level, right? And I think that'd be so much better. But we have people that just constantly want to dig, and it's like we need to get those people. Maybe we need to build those people up, right, and get them that new attitude of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to reach out to these people that most people think are just an asshole, and I bet maybe they're really not.
Right.
Maybe it's just like I don't know. I've got all kinds of theories that
we'll get there.
We'll get there. I think we're heading in the right direction. I think.
Starts here.
Yes. We'll start with a small snake.
And what is this we're pulling out?
This is a clown-pied female. Her name is the Queen.
The Queen.
The Queen. That's her full title, is actually the Queen. The is part of her name.
Okay. Works.
And
that's pretty.
Yeah, she's one of the first ball pythons I got. She's part of the first group. Got her from Colette Sutherland over at TSK.
Right.
And she's amazing, man. I mean, let alone the fact that she's genetically powerful, being double recessive. It's just like, but she's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
I really like a high pattern clown or a high pattern pied.
Right.
And so you can really see what the other morphs do to the pattern.
And these guys, it's snakes like this, man. It's like people see them, they get blown away, and it kind of draws more people into the hobby, especially for ball pythons. So you get, especially pieds. Pieds are just beautiful. So what was like your first ball python morph that you got?
My very first ball python morph was a hypo pinstripe. His name's
pinstripe.
Carl. I can pull him out too real quick. I'll grab him.
So that's Carl.
I had aspirations to call him Carl, like Carl and Carl, and my wife said, no, you're not calling anybody Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a little odd. We got to listen to our wives, because then we get in trouble if we don't.
Yeah, and it happens. Yeah, so he's I got him from the East Bay Vivarium, which is where I got all my snakes when I was a kid too. Right. So it's really cool to see
I've been
that
there
place.
Once.
It's cool. I think it's one of the oldest reptile pet stores in the country.
Right.
I believe.
I think it's Twin City Reptiles in Minnesota. They're up there too. I'm hoping to go there one day. But hi, Sarah. And so these are cool, man. How old is this one?
This guy, I got him in April of 2014.
And what attracted you to ball pythons?
Well, when I was a kid, I'd looked at I had a buddy who had a ball python, and I was like, whoa, that's a cool snake. I want to get one of those sometime. I just never did. I always had colubrids growing up. And then it wasn't until I moved back from Hawaii and got back into keeping snakes again after being gone for so long that I even kind of knew before we left that I was like, I want to get a ball python when we get back, because I had always wanted one. Nice. And that's when I came back and learned that there were like all these crazy morphs and stuff.
Right.
Like, it wasn't until I started looking into getting a ball python, I was like, it's insane, And yeah, that was a big part of how they brought, even though I'd been in the hobby since I was 4 years old, when I came back, ball pythons were what brought me back in hard in a big way. Nice. To your point about,
Right.
To your point.
It's a cool thing, and I enjoy ball pythons. They're mellow, which is good for kids.
Yeah.
And that's really where I focus my attention on, is what's good for kids, and so they're definitely some of the best snakes for kids, because they are mellow and they can get any color they want pretty much. That's what I tell kids, So what would be your ultimate ball python?
Here, let me show you. So this I think would be my ultimate ball python. If you could get all the ball python morphs into scrub pythons, I'm sure scrub python enthusiasts right now are just like, no. But I know it's a joke.
Oh yeah, I think it's a beautiful ball python.
If you could bring ball python morphs to scrub pythons, I'm a big fan of how scrub pythons are, man. I really like their
I like their body, dude.
Yeah, their athleticism and
little wily. Yeah,
they're a little wily and very on point. They come out. You got to pay attention when you're messing with a scrub python.
Oh yeah.
So
It only hurt for a minute.
it'd be fun. Yeah, I like ball pythons for the same reason too. They're easy with kids, and the morphs are insane, and they're wonderful snakes if you want to sit down and watch TV and have dinner while you're holding the snake. But
now, I don't know much about scrub pythons, so I mean, is this full grown? Is this?
no, but they are the longest snake in Australia.
Oh, okay.
This locality is not from Australia. This is a Merauke, a southern Merauke patternless, but they're fairly long snakes, very long, slender snakes. I would definitely say they're semi-arboreal.
Right. Well,
They were classified Morelia at one point, so they were in the same class as carpet pythons. But that was recently, or I don't know if it was recently, but right now they're considered Somalia. I can't always keep track. They're always moving things around.
You're okay if I touch your snake right now?
I mean, you're here. You're here at the house. Pretty much, if you ever make it to my house, then touching the snakes is like getting to the house is the prerequisite, and then once you're here, yeah, you can touch all the snakes you
want. So how often do you feed these guys?
I've been feeding them every couple weeks, and that was at the recommendation of Mr. Dan Maliri, who I got these snakes from.
Man.
And he took a look at them recently and said that they look really good, and he's glad they went to a good home. So I feel pretty good about how they
Well,
do.
you have a pair of these guys?
I have a pair, yeah.
Nice.
This is Sangria. She is obviously a blood python, for anybody who knows blood pythons.
Beefy blood python.
Yeah, she's beefy. But she's still got that spine showing through, which is what you like to see on.
Okay,
But
so
if you can't see that spine anymore, then you've gone gone too far.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to see that ridge coming up on their back. That spine coming through like that.
Okay.
She could maybe even stand to lose a little bit, but she is breeding right now, so I don't want her to be super thin.
So is she full grown? Is that?
She still could grow some more, I think. But she is. I got her in 2015.
Okay.
So she still could grow a little bit, but she's done. She's done growing fast, I think.
Right. Okay.
But she's still got growing to do for sure.
Now, when she has her babies, what's the average clutch for you guys?
I have no idea. I've never produced a blood python clutch. My buddy Travis sent me over his mail, said, "Do you want to try and breed these guys together?" And I said, "Sure, why not? Let's go for it."
Nice.
I know what temperature I need to incubate them at, and I've got enough space to do it if I need to. So, I honestly have no idea. When it comes to like knowledge about snakes, I don't know any of the details. I know very few of the scientific names for snakes, the Latin names, and I'm not necessarily on that side of herpetoculture. I would say, there's people out there that know way more than me on many aspects. Like way more. Even though I've been keeping snakes most of my life, it's been more about I'm just excited about how cool they are and how different they are from most other animals. And I've learned quite a bit over the years, I guess, but again, not on a scientific level.
Right.
Even something as simple as like, what's the average size of a blood python clutch? I'd be taking a stab in the dark.
Yeah. So what attracted you to blood pythons? I mean, what?
Well, I was down at the San Diego Super Show, and I had been planning to pick up a retic from Jay on the way down, and then while I was at the show, I saw these guys, and I was like, and I'd seen blood pythons before and heard a little bit about them and what their keeping is like, but she just blew me away. Lady over at Giant Keeper Reptiles, and saw her sister there and her mother, and they just like the colors just blew me away, and then just a different snake.
Nice.
Anytime I see a snake that's different, I'm just like,
oh yeah. So who is this?
This is Roxanne. Because she used to always turn on the red light, and I had to tell her that she didn't have to. I mean, that's really where the name came from.
I would do my Roxanne impression because my kids make me do it every time the song comes on, but I'm not going to do that because, well.
And she's so good at it. Man, you guys can't see on the camera right now, but I just put my hand in there. She talks a lot. She likes to let you know that maybe this isn't what she wants to do. So I respect her for the most part, but every now and then,
Do you feel lucky?
now and then people want to see you. People want to see you, and I want to see you too. I just want to hang out just a little bit, okay?
Tell me about this one.
She is a hypo Burmese python, and I got her from Tim Down at Prehistoric Pets, and I say
Okay.
Tim because it was Tim that pulled her out and showed her to me, and he took her out and brought her over to me, and like in one fell swoop she struck at my face, and I did like this matrix like whoa, and this is like whoosh, and Tim just looked at her, oh, he's laughing, he's like, oh, sorry.
You're like, I have to have her.
I had wanted a hypoberm for a while in particular, and when I was looking, actually, they weren't that easy to come by.
Right.
I couldn't, well, at least I had been searching. I had been looking on King Snake and all kinds of places. And yeah, I finally found her with Tim. And she used to bite me a lot. She'd bite me, she'd urate on me. And as you can see, she still has that attitude, still likes
Right.
to hiss, which is really cool. I've brought her to educational shows as well. I do all handling on those,
yeah.
but
But I'm sure the kids kind of get a kick out of her.
hearing her talk,
Yeah.
is definitely a crowd pleaser.
You don't always hear that, you know.
Yeah, but she's a good snake. She's a really good snake. I mean, like I said, she hasn't bit me in forever.
She's just a lot of bark.
A lot of bark, no bite at this point.
So what do you like about big snakes? Because you mentioned earlier that you had never owned big snakes.
Yeah, well, there was a time not long ago when I thought that I would never own big snakes and said that I would never own big snakes because I didn't think I could handle it. I thought it was too much snake for me to handle, even up until, as a kid looking at those snakes at East Bay Vivarium,
Right.
just thinking, nah, it's just too much snake, too big. And then, I don't know, something changed. And I've always liked them. I just
Right.
never thought that I would have the ability to keep them. There's things happening around here.
So it's kind of like when you get your first snake, you get more.
Yeah.
When you get your first big snake, you gotta have another one. Right?
I think they're awesome. It's kind of like now I look at it like I looked at dogs. Like I'm not a big fan of little dogs because they can't wrestle with them. You could break them, you could fall on them,
Right.
and land on them, and squish
Step
them,
on
and
'em, yeah.
step on them. I've always liked bigger dogs for that same reason. And now that I have big snakes, that's a big part of it too for me. It's like a big snake. You don't have to worry so much about crushing it. Like you can manhandle it and wrestle with it, and
Right.
it's
good,
substantial. It'll give you a hug. You can feel it.
Right.
And the wow factor for kids.
Right.
The wow factor for kids is huge. That's now that I am doing some educational shows here and there, I couldn't imagine doing one without a big
Right.
snake, because not that you can't, not that it wouldn't work, but there's something really cool about seeing the way
Most
those
definitely.
kids' faces light up when
Yep.
you pull out that huge snake, man.
Yeah.
Because I've been to some shows before and I'm doing it with some buddies and we're showing snakes and the kids are really excited about seeing the snakes, but when that big snake comes out, the
Yeah.
room just lights up,
Yep. No, I always tell people it's important to learn your snakes, learn attitudes, because they wake up in bad moods like we do, right? So it's important to know your snake. You just can't get a snake on a Tuesday and go do a show on Wednesday.
Right, no.
Right? You gotta understand what they can and can't handle. And that's one thing I like, especially the big snakes. For me, it's easier to read them than little, squirrely snakes. But big snakes are always a showstopper for kids because they see that size and it's just pretty amazing.
So this is Betsy Ross. She is the biggest snake here.
Nice. What is she? I know she's a retic, but
Yeah,
what's
she's
that?
a Clark strain albino, purple albino.
Nice. So how long is she? She's
I don't know. I don't really keep
I'm
track
always
of
bad
how
at
long the
measurements.
snakes get. That's another thing. I'm kind of bad at it, so it's like I don't really try to claim weight. And getting a good measurement of a snake like this, and you run a string down from,
Right.
and then measure the string. And I haven't done that in a long time. I have no idea how long she is.
And how old is she?
She is. Oh my gosh. She was hatched on the 4th of July, 2015.
2015. Wow. And it blows me away as you just look at the size of their head.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just massive.
Yeah, and it's gonna get bigger. I've been working recently on not feeding her as much, but bigger meals less often.
Right.
So I think that'll help her trim down her body a little bit, but also let her head get bigger because she's got to really work it around those meals.
Right. Yeah. Give them a little exercise while they eat.
Yeah, that's my theory at least.
Wow. So, what is your favorite snake you own?
I mean, since she's the biggest, she's kind of been it's just really fun. You know, you get it out. It's just like a workout, and it's. But Halo, I've got this other reticulated python that most people on this channel realize is Halo, and she's just one of the most mellow snakes, and she's just really cool. But she's having some skin issues over there, so I'm letting her chill out in a little humidity environment. But yeah, she's probably my number one snake.
And she is going to come do a show with us today.
She's coming with a show with us today. Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep,
So
yep.
you're going to see Brian. He's going to talk during our show and have some fun today.
And that'll be over on the vlog channel. That'll actually have come out a couple days ago. So if you want to see the show, I'll put a link right here, and you can see Brandon in action and myself in action.
Should I not said that she was coming and you were doing a show?
No.
It's not happened yet. It's on the other channel.
No, it's all good because this is coming out. It doesn't matter.
I don't want to mess with your times, you know.
Brandon, thank you.
Thank you.
There's gonna be like a link for the educational show. This guy does more educational events than I think anybody in the country per year, which is obviously a very huge and important part of the hobby. This isn't his first time on Triple B TV. I'll put that episode up here as well, his first interview here. But you'll get to see on the vlog channel a little snippet of, a whole day of how and what he does to educate the kids and get the awareness out here about the fact that snakes are not mindless, scary, killing, eating machines.
And lizards.
And lizards.
And spiders.
And spiders.
And bugs.
And bugs.
And frogs.
And frogs.
And tortoises.
Oh my gosh, it's getting way more. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir. You're awesome.
Sweet. It's just a small little frame. I should have put a wide angle lens up there is what I should have done, but you know.
She's a good girl, man. She's an easy girl.
Oh my.
Gonna die.
I hope so.
So does anybody want to see Brian hold the pied retick?
You're a real nice guy.
No, I won't do that to you.
I'm leaving the pied alone. I'm gonna have to, she does have a little bit stuck shed at her back, so I'm gonna have to take her out at some point. Whether or not I'll put it on camera, to be determined.
I just want to touch it.
You're more than welcome to touch it. If you want to pull that pied out right now, you can. You can be my guest. I can just hear people out there right now like, what are you doing?
Out, yeah.
Why are you doing that? Why are you saying these things? Yeah. Sure, yeah. You can ask me whatever you want, man. You don't have to ask me. You can literally ask me whatever. That's the great thing about video too, is like, we don't have to worry about
I mean, if you don't like it, that's cool. You can edit them.
Exactly. I can edit out anything. You can say whatever you. I have nothing to. I will talk about anything, man. I really don't. Do you want to say that you're watching Triple B TV?
I do.
All right. Then that's gonna drive me insane. Damn, nailed it.
I've always wanted to do that.
I guess first thing I do is get a snake out.
Show me your snake.